Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm continuing my quest to string 300 rackets at home in 2025 with Rackets 206 and 207, a pair of Dunlop CX400 Tours that are going to be strung with Luxilon Element 125 mains and Tecnifibre NRG 216 gauge crosses at 40 pounds per the client request. And the only reason these aren't cut out yet is because I wanted you to see this absolutely beautiful wear pattern on these rackets right here through the middle. Just absolute consistency on these. But going to go ahead and get these cut out and get these strung up. It's looking more and more like these will be the last rackets of 2025. So I won't make my 300 goal, but based on the fact that I only did 189 rackets at home last year, it's about a 10% improvement to get to 207. So overall, still a good year and still a growth year. And in addition to the increase at home, doing about 20 more rackets than I did last year. This isn't all I did this year, kind of go through the list. Started the year at Indian Wells working for Head. Did a week there, my first time working Indian Wells, and unfortunately Head does not have it back in 2026. So as of now, unless something changes and I get a late phone call, it's not looking like I'll be back. But I did about 300 rackets in a week's time. I think it was somewhere close to 330 according to the computer system, because each racket is logged to a stringer. Somewhere between 300 and 330. I don't remember exactly. I think I've said in a video that was closer to. But Indian Wells was an experience. Great tournament. Great facility. Really just beautiful site. Great to be able to take a break from stringing and walk outside and be surrounded by that view. After Indian Wells this year, I went to Charleston. That is my 6th Charleston Open, maybe? Started Charleston in 2019, missed it in 2020 due to COVID. So 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, so 6 Charleston Open. This year I did somewhere in the ballpark of 150 rackets in the 5.5 days I was there. I remember the exact number. I'd have to check the notes in my phone because I do keep a daily total to kind of be able to compare where I'm at and then where we're at as a group compared to previous years, because it does vary year to year, and it's hard to tell year to year exactly what it's going to be before we're in it and doing it, because the draw quantity of players has changed through the different iterations of the tournament. I mean, we had a tournament, maybe the 23 Charleston Open, with a really large qualifying draw, and then not as many players got buys in the first round of the main draw, and I ended up doing right at 200 rackets. I think I did like 196 or something in 5.5 days, and that tournament was by far the busiest one we had in Charleston. After Charleston, the University of South Carolina hosted the men's tennis SEC championships, and I got asked by the men's head coach to come string it and put together the team to do it. I started maybe Monday evening. Because some of the teams stayed in town, like the guys played Florida the Saturday before SEC, so no reason for Florida to go all the way back to Gainesville just to turn around and come back. So they had stayed the weekend and been practicing the whole time. So started Monday night, Strung all the way through to, I think the last rackets I did were actually on Saturday. I don't remember if I actually did any on Sunday or just did the rackets Saturday for Sunday's match. But in the, I guess, 6 days for that tournament, I did 142 rackets according to my tracking of that tournament. And then after that tournament this year, the only other tournament I had was the US Open. I spent 25 days in New York this year, and with one off day based on the duration of the trip. I was given one complete off day. And if I remember my count right, I strung somewhere between 500 and 550 rackets in that time. It didn't feel that bad, didn't feel that big for most of the tournament. And actually, if I remember correctly, my largest racket day, where I don't really do a great job of keeping count of rackets during the US Open, but my largest racket day that I remember, I did like 38 or 39, and that was probably 2 or 3 days before I left, which is likely due to the addition of wheelchair players at that time in the tournament, more than anything else. That and the actual string team tapering down, so folks were going home, so rackets got sent to different stringers. But overall, and then also had the Charlotte Invitational that I made the video on, that, I don't know, not really a tournament, single day professional event. Only did 6 rackets there, which is the same that I did in 24's version of the Charlotte Invitational. So overall, somewhere between 11 and 1,200 professional rackets, or tournament rackets this year, I guess, because I guess you may not call the SEC tournament a professional tournament, even though you kind of look at the top players on some of those teams, and a lot of those guys are going to be pros. If they're playing 1-2 and they're on a top half of the conference team, those guys are probably going to play professional tennis. So all told, tournament rackets this year, somewhere between 11 and 1,200. Overall, a successful year. And then I also have added back in stringing for the South Carolina men's tennis team. And I really only had 3 months worth of work with the guys in the fall, but I averaged about 70 rackets a month. So there's another couple hundred there. So total on the year, somewhere between 1,300 and 14, maybe 1,450, because I think there's a couple other, like, the men hosted a fall tournament, and then there's I think I helped out, if I remember right, I helped out with the men's January tournament at the beginning of this year. So there's probably another 50, 60, 80, 100 rackets there. I'd have to actually go back and look. But pretty good year. Maybe 1,500 rackets total, including the stuff from home, the stuff for the university, and professional stringing. And that's probably closer to what will be an average year for me going forward, because I won't go back to stringing for both college teams full time, or at least that's not my plan. And before, that's where a majority of my rackets came from, because by the time I left the university, I was doing like 2,000 a year. But rackets 206, 207 to wrap up my quest to 300 in 2025, my failed quest to 300 in 2025, coming right up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Rackets 206 and 207 on the year complete. A pair of Dunlop CX400 Tours with Element 125 mains and Tecnifibre NRG 16 crosses at 40 pounds on both rackets. Thanks for being here this year. Thanks for watching, and look forward to next year. See you next video.